Hello my friends and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. France is going through some hard time and the unions, I was about to say the credit unions, the labor unions are very active, and we have here a report stating that actually in France a lot of companies are closing their doors. So let's see. This article comes from Sputnik and it's from today, the 17th of October 2022. About 350 French companies going through a rough patch over energy crisis. About 350 French companies are going through tough times due to the energy crisis, Industry Minister Delegate at the French Finance Ministry Ronald Lescure, I guess, said on Monday, and I'm quoting, about 350 companies are in fact facing significant difficulties due to the energy crisis, end quote, Lescure told French broadcaster France Info. The minister noted that the figure is only the quote-unquote tip of the iceberg, since the sharp rise in electricity prices affected all companies in France, with the exception of the smallest ones, which are protected by the tariff shield. So this must be big ones, the 350. According to Lescure, the main task at the moment is for the government to provide support for companies on the case-by-case basis so that they can continue their work. The start of hostilities in Ukraine in February exacerbated the energy crisis unfolding in Europe over the past year. Disruptions in logistical and financial operations due to the conflict and Western sanctions against Russia have undermined supply chains and led to a spike in energy prices worldwide, pushing many European governments to resort to contingency measures. French media reported that a surge in energy prices as well as a shortage of milk, meat, and vegetables threatened the activity of food production plants in France. What is that? You're not going to have milk, you're not going to have vegetable, you're not going to have meat. What are you going to have? Wood? Okay, yeah, eat that one. The French government has extended the tariff shield introduced in 2021 until the end of 2023 and expanded it to cover small businesses that have fewer than 10 employees and a turnover of less than 2 million euros, which is $1.96 million. The shield protects French households and small companies from successive increases in electricity and gas prices. The new extension of the tariff shield limits the price increase for gas to 15% in January 2023 and for electricity to 15% in February 2023. Well, my question is this: how can you shield them? And if it's so easy to shield them, why do you let people then work like crazy and have their lives as they are? Why didn't you do this before the crisis? So you can, but you don't wanna? Or what would these little measures actually mean? What do they mean? And I tell you exactly what they mean. The difference is paid by the banks, that the government goes and begs for some loans. The banks are so eager to provide you because guess what? They will get their money 3 or 4 times with interest, obviously. So they are not losing. The only ones that are losing is us. So yeah, they help through rough time right now, but in the meantime, they will get more national debt that will be paid back by you, your children, and so on. So this is all for what? For what? I'm going to leave coronavirus to a different realm, but I will just focus on the sanctions. They participate in sanctions. France. Okay, well, good. Participate in sanctions and see how your country goes down. Is that okay? I mean, did you ask the French people if they want that? I know that people like to, put virtue badges so they can use the virtue signaling all over their bodies and all over their whatever. But when, the shit hits the fan, That everybody's like, oh no, 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 no. We like helping, but we don't want any sacrifice. Well, it doesn't work that way. If you want to go hunting to get food, you gotta stay in cold, you have to waste time, you have to do this, you have to do that, you have to prepare, and so on. The same, if you want to make food, you gotta work. You don't stay like a child and wait for someone else to make the food for you. Unless you are, in a system like United States of America, where you have a big chunk of the population handouts. We can't, it's unfair. Something is unfair to their lives, and people like here, there, they work, they're taxed, forcefully taxed, because we don't give taxes because we like. Because if we don't like, we end up in jail or prison, and people with guns will come and get us there, because eventually that's what's gonna be. So that's kind of like a Robin Hood, when the government is incapable of providing the economic or social programs. I don't want to call them programs because it's the same with the programs. The environment, in order for everybody to have opportunities, and you always have opportunities. You always have opportunities. As they like to say it here, you always have a choice. Exactly, you have a choice. Now, if you have two bad choices, get the least hurtful. Let's put it this way. What can you do? You have to sacrifice. That's how life is. You have to. So the same with these guys. What are they going to do? They get the money from the banks, give it to these guys temporarily, and then. But 350 companies. I don't see the name of the companies, because if I see the names, there's going to be probably important names. Remember, the French government is going to nationalize a few big energy companies. I can't remember the one of them. It was one, I can't remember the name. But that's not a good sign. When you nationalize something, that means the government, which is people, a certain kind of people, they get power over that, because that's too big to fall or needs help. Well, why is it in this situation? Is it because your freaking measures, your sanctions and whatever policies that did not work? Yeah, so you're responsible. And don't tell me you help, because you help in the same way you help the small businesses. Go and get loans. It's like here, you got a politician and said, hey, you got your roads are not okay? Okay, your schools are depleted, are bad? Okay, well, I promise you I will make them new. I promise, new. But if you ask me how, well, I'm just going to go and tax you more, and I'm going to tax the shit out of you, and guess what? I'm going to get loans that you're going to pay. I would make, in 1 year, if you elect me, you're going to have the roads clean and straight and new, and the schools, I'm going to build new schools and everything. But you're going to be poor, you're going to be broke after that. Bankrupt. And I'm going to tax the shit out of you. So instead of creating an environment where the business can come and flourish, that means provide jobs and other things. Nah, you're just gonna tax. That's the thing. Here, they fucked up with the economy in France, and now they're gonna tax. They're gonna tax and get loans. Well, thank you very much. That's very good. Yeah, like the United States gets oil right now from its strategic oil reserves. Why? Because they screwed up. They don't have enough. Why don't they have enough? Because of their little sanctions and other hanky-panky. It's like you go to the bank and you withdraw from your saving to pay for your food, because you don't work, you don't get money. You don't have a job. You didn't fight for a job. You didn't try. You didn't apply. You didn't do whatever you didn't. And guess what? Your saving account is going to go down until it hits bottom. And then what are you going to do then? Go and start robbing? All right. Or ask for a politician to play Robin Hood, like Robin. Anyway. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Bad news from France. Le Pen will win. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just. I don't think so, because she is not a communist. And what's next is going to be communism over there in France.